Big week for us. Obviously, very excited. For our first taste of the Kentucky Louisville rivalry. Although playing Louisville is not new to us, and obviously we played them in some very big games. A couple years ago in the ACC championship, last year we went down there. I think it was pretty much a sold-out crowd and two ranked teams. So very healthy rivalry between just the coaching staffs. The players, she's had experience doing it. Georgia, obviously, Tiani Key. So there's some familiarity with it. But obviously, when it's Kentucky Louisville, it's going to be a little bit different. So we're excited about the opportunity. We're continuing to get better. It's kind of funny sitting up here a couple of days after I saw you guys last, and you get a chance to watch film, and you weren't as bad as you thought you were. This one. We watched film, and I think I told you guys, she was the only one that I pretty much chastised after the game, and it's just because we know where she wants to go and what she wants to be. And we watched film, and I didn't really have a whole lot to say bad about her performance. So, but she understands what we're trying to do. But it'll be a good test for us. By no means will it be the all be all or the end of everything with the game, but it's going to be a good test for us to show where we are, what we need to do, win or lose, and just excited for the opportunity.
Coach, can you talk a little bit more about your relationship with Jeff Walz and what it's like to play against his team?
Yeah, Jeff's one of the, not the pioneer of the ACC, but he's been there for such a long time that, and Jeff talks a lot, so you have no choice but to listen unless you can tune him out. But he also has, a lot of great ideas for women's basketball. The utmost respect for him and what he's done for women's basketball. Sometimes I don't think he gets enough credit as he deserves. Maybe some people will look at him and say because he talks a lot, whatever. But he's a great coach, and he's done so much for the game, the ACC. When I got into the ACC, he welcomed me into the ACC with kind of like a little mentorship, and not that I called him all the time, but when we got a chance to talk, I learned a lot from him, and he's always been a winner in that league, and they were the very last team that we beat. We beat every team in the ACC, and they were the last ones that we beat, and it just goes to show the longevity he's had. But I think I was just watching our game, and it said that he had his 20+ wins. This was last year in every season except for one that he's been at Louisville. So he's a staple, and he's done a great job. He and I, we're friends. We would consider each other friends. I know his daughters. He knows my daughters, and we wish each other luck except for when we play each other. But we'll call each other, and if there's something on the horizon. So there is a relationship there. And but when we get out on the court, he wants to beat me as bad as I want to beat him, and I think it's a healthy rivalry because of that.
Did you hear from him after you got the job?
Yeah, we talked. We talked, and I think it was about getting the job, but Jeff talked so much at the end of it. I don't know what we were talking about. But it's always fun. It's always fun, amusing. Every conversation I have with him, it's always a hoot, and so a lot of respect on my end, not only for him but for his players. We've had a healthy rivalry, and Olivia Cochran, and down the list. I'll see them at recruiting events, and they'll come up and they'll talk to me, because we love going against each other because we bring out the best in each other. So the uniforms will be a little bit different, but there'll be a lot of familiar faces in it, and that'll be, you have to get used to that, but I think it's going to be fun.
For Kenny and Clara both, you guys get to the point where you look good against the lesser competition. You guys have done that. Now everyone's kind of ready to see what you guys do against big time teams. So how excited are you guys for that challenge? And what more do you think people are going to learn about your team as you go out there and face another ranked team?
Yeah, I think we're really excited. Obviously, like you said, we look good here, there, but those experiences also teach us a lot. I think we've learned from those, and I think we're ready to play another ranked team, and I think we're ready for the challenge. So I think we're really excited for that.
Yeah, we've had competition against one of the best teams in the country, just in a close scrimmage. But we're excited to be able to go out and show it. It's going to be two great teams fighting for a lot more than just a Saturday afternoon game in November. There's a lot at stake with the history with the two programs, and we're getting introduced to it. But it's one game on our schedule. In the grand scheme of everything, the win and the loss, it will mean a lot to our fans. It'll mean a lot to us, but just as important, we want to see how much growth we've had and what we need to go and where we'll be, and so we're excited about that. And but it's going to be a lot of fun.
How tough is it in a blowout game or games when you look for the growth? Like, did we grow this much, or was it just the opponent we were playing?
It's not necessarily the outcome, and that's what we talked to them about. No offense to Wofford, South Carolina State, Upstate, or Northern Kentucky. We feel like we are the better basketball team. So it's more like, okay, how did you get there? It's not, what the final score. We don't even look at the final score. We look at, okay, how did we get there? Did we do all the little things to get there? That's why when I come up here, sometimes I might seem grumpy because you're really locked in and focused on what you didn't do well as opposed to what you really did do well. And then you take the emotion out of it and you actually watch the game and you're like, oh, because we watch Wofford and we practice against Wofford stuff, and then they totally take their game plan out and they want to spread us out and just penetrate and shoot threes. They shot twice as many threes in our game as they had in any previous game. So I thought we did some good things in those games, but obviously we got some things we need to work on. And a lot of it, too, is self-inflicted. I'm the culprit a lot of times because as opposed to just allowing them to play in a game like that, I might want to work on something. So I'll call out a set play, or I'll disrupt the flow, or I'm putting in rotations just because I want to see how that kid's going to work. And it's not the flow that you'll have at the end of the year. And so it's all this what those games are for. And I think we get to learn a little bit about them, but you also learn a lot about what you are after games like Saturday's game.
Kenny, what do you think the atmosphere will be like for Saturday night game? Is that kind of atmosphere that will maybe bring out the best in Georgia?
No clue. I have no clue. This is only my fourth. There'll be my fourth game in Memorial. You would love for the crowds to be bigger. Obviously, November, a lot going on. So many opportunities. Sometimes people will say, well, they play again on Saturday, so they might choose. But obviously, with a big rivalry game, you expect to be a little bit more. And so I'm looking forward to it. We're looking forward to building the fan base, to not only where they buy season tickets, but they come out and they support every game. That's what we had to do, our previous stop. It was nobody in the stands, and to the point where, okay, the word gets out that's a pretty good brand of basketball. It's fun to watch them. You get to see a 6'5" girl bring the ball down the floor and, shoot fadeaway threes. Okay, let me go see that. As opposed to watching it, from your comforts of your home, come out here and make it a great environment. So I don't know what to expect. Everything's almost like a first for me here. Whether the crowd, the pregame, our pregame meals, are different. Everything is just different, and so we just take it what it is, and we know that we don't want to build our fan base on hype. We want to build it off of productivity and what we're able to show people we can do, and that's just going to take a little bit of time.
What have you seen out of Louisville on the film so far, and is it any different than the normal Jeff Walsh team?
Yeah, he's got a lot of freshmen, and normally, like we played them last year, and they had pretty much all upperclassmen. I don't think they had any freshmen last year, or none who stepped onto the floor. He had a lot of transfers last year. This year, they're almost like the total opposite of us. They have very experienced post players, but young guards. We have very experienced guards, but very young post players. And so, but they play hard. They play hard. Watched them against UCLA. I thought they played harder than UCLA. Just watching the game. And they got a couple. They do have a transfer guard that we are familiar with, Jalea Williams, who played for Miami, and we knew what she brought from Miami. And just to add to his style, she fits perfectly. And so they're going to cause some havoc. They're going to switch the defenses up on us. They play hard on the defensive end. The kid Roberts can shoot the ball. So she's added an element to them that they probably didn't really have last year. Curry, I don't know what her situation is going to be, but she's playing available. She adds an element to them that gives them more experience into that guard rotation. But I just know that they're going to come out and they're going to play hard, and that's what they've always done, and that's always been a problem for us playing against a Louisville basketball team.
Kind of on that note, what's going to be the difference maker in the game?
We got to make more baskets than they do. I don't know. I really don't. It's so early. It's so early. I'm sure if I go listen to his press conference, he's probably saying he's trying to learn his team. I'm trying to learn our team. Usually when I play Jeff Walls, it's in January or February and March, and we know what our teams are. But both of us, we've never played each other in November. And so it's just going to be something totally new. But the only constant I know is they're going to play hard. We're going to play hard. And but looks at the game look at them on tape, look at us on tape. You might play the game 10 times and it might be 5-5. I don't know, but it just seems that even, and we're just trying to learn our teams.
Clara, how are you getting ready for your first time playing in this rivalry? What are people telling you? And maybe are like Cassidy and Stein telling you anything like that?
She doesn't know. She's from Buffalo.
What do you think about this rivalry? How excited are you playing it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm super excited. Obviously, you hear a lot about it everywhere, like the Kentucky-Louisville. It's a big thing. I can't say that I know a ton about it, obviously, but I think I'm learning, and I think I'm just hearing from all like the talk all over like social media and just around, hearing more about that. So I'm definitely excited for that, and I'm hoping that it's just a good game for us to really challenge ourselves.
Have Sanaya or Cassidy said anything like since they have played in it before? Like, all right, we're not losing to these guys.
Maybe a little, but not a ton yet.
Kenny, how do you feel Georgia's played to this point of the season?
Great. Really has. She hasn't shot the ball well, but I think her focus has really been trying to get everybody else comfortable. It's what she does, and we talk about it, we laugh about it. We talk about changing it every year. She starts off slower than what she finishes because she's like, okay, I have to make sure she's a consummate point guard. We created the scoring point guard. Out of necessity, but if she had her druthers, it would be, okay, let me set everybody else up. She would love to get a great pass as opposed to get a shot. And she just morphed into a scoring point guard. And then when we come here to a new situation and getting to know everyone else, she's like the caretaker. And she's the one making sure that she's getting her opportunities. She gets excited when Deja Law is scoring. She gets excited about the possibilities of Clara Silva or Tiani and what Tiani can do. And that sometimes she kind of, forgets herself. She and I were, talking yesterday, and, we pointed out that she probably passed up 7 or 8 three-point attempts that she could have taken. And I'm like, you're not going to get those opportunities. You need to shoot them. And she hasn't shot the ball well, but she knows that you can't make them unless you shoot them. But you look at everything else, her defense has been terrific. She's trying to develop our brand of the fast break, with this group. And then I think her leadership has been better than it's ever been. Because she knows that she's the elder statesman. She's the one that's played the most for me. She's more vocal than she has ever been. So she's not a kid that can be judged by what the stat sheet says. She brings so much to us, and I want her to shoot more. I want her to be more aggressive, but it's just in her nature to make sure she's a caretaker.
Clara, have you been around Coach Walls before? Do you recruit you?
No, he didn't recruit me. The only time really is just our game last year.
Didn't get to talk to him about it?
No.
Okay, gotcha.
Clara, in preparation for playing these experienced posts, what are you talking about with your post group to get ready?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like we said, like they have that experienced group, and we're younger, but I don't think that that's like going to be a problem. I think as long as we play like the way we know we can play, we're physical, we're aggressive, I think we'll be fine.
Coach, basically the whole staff, besides I guess Jerry Gregory and Clara, Georgia, and Tiani, all came from the ACC. Just how much more help does that give you to prepare for Saturday?
Yeah, a lot. There's a lot of familiarity, not only with their team, their personnel, their coaching, their style. We know what plays, they like to run. Everything seems familiar. And, we played them, I think it was like our third to the last game last year, so to play them quicker, in another turnaround. So there's a lot of familiarity and what they do and what we do and how we play each other. So that helps out a whole lot.